Charlie is a teacher and his wife, Maria, is an artist. One of the main differences between the two is that Charlie has no imagination, well, perhaps a little, whereas Maria has the most vivid imagination you could think of. Now, imagination is an essential quality if you're an artist, but sometimes it can lead to problems. Take the night before last, for example. It was a fine summer night, and you could see the moon and the stars quite clearly. It was shortly before the longest day of the year. Charlie was sitting in a deck chair enjoying the warm summer air when he felt something touch his shoulder. It was Maria's hand, and he could tell immediately she was a little worried about something. He had noticed this sensation 100 times before. He asked her what the matter was, and she replied that there was a strange thing on the jacket that was hanging in the bedroom. Now you must remember that they had both lived in the West Indies and had seen a lot of strange creatures in their house before. But now they were living in England, and so Charlie just laughed and said he would have a look at the thing. He left the garden and made his way to the bedroom. He could see a jacket hanging in the bedroom and went up to it to have a closer look at the thing. The moment he touched it, the thing sprang into life. Now Charlie experiences fears like the rest of us, but when this creature opened its wings, he jumped out of his skin and ran screaming from the room like a small child doing about 100 miles an hour. What a fuss, you may say, and the brave among you may well regard such behavior as pathetic, but bats bring out the worst in many people. For a moment the next-door neighbors thought that Charlie was murdering his wife because of the noise they could hear. In fact, the bat was the one that was frightened, and it fluttered its wings and flew from one side of the bedroom to the other. Eventually Charlie managed to trap the bat in a box and went out into the front garden clutching the box as if it had a bomb inside it, took off the lid, and the bat, obviously delighted to be free, flew away into the dark. Eventually Maria, who had been playing the guitar while Charlie was upstairs, asked Charlie if he had found out what the thing was. "Oh, nothing to worry about," he said casually, hoping that the terror could not be seen in his eyes. It was just a bat. Charlie, a teacher, and his wife Maria, an artist, possess vastly different levels of imagination. While Charlie lacks significant imagination, Maria's is incredibly vivid. This dynamic leads to an amusing yet tense encounter one summer night. Charlie, relaxing outdoors, is approached by Maria, visibly concerned about a strange object on a jacket indoors. Despite their past experiences with exotic creatures in the West Indies, Charlie dismisses her worries. However, upon investigating, he discovers the object is a bat, which seems to laugh, causing Charlie to panic and fight him in a comical frenzy. Mistaken for a violent altercation by their neighbors, Charlie eventually traps the bat and releases it outside, much to Maria's nonchalant relief. The episode highlights how even the mundane can evoke fear, and how differing perspectives on imagination can color one's reactions to the world. How I got that job. At the time, I was living in a small village about 25 miles from London. I could reach to London in half an hour by train there. If you went by car, it would take about 3 times as long, and you would sit in your stationary car for ages before you go anywhere, especially if you traveled in the morning rush hour. I had to make a choice between the car and the train. I had seen an advertisement in a national newspaper which had asked for someone who had some knowledge of computing, had worked at least for 2 years in car sales, and finally was not afraid of traveling up and down the motorway to London every day from a place not far from where I lived. It was quite different from the job I had at the time. The interview was to take place at 10 a.m. on a Monday morning in January. Throughout the weekend I could not make up my mind whether to travel by car or by train. At the end of Sunday I had decided it was going to be the car. In the end I had convinced myself that this was the best choice because after all the job was to do with cars. On the day of the interview, I got up at 6 a.m. as I was terrified of being late. I usually woke up early because the noise of the traffic as it rattled past my bedroom window was very loud in the morning. I looked out of the window and realized why there was a thick blanket of snow on the road on that particular morning, and it was still snowing heavily. I thought of going by train. When I telephoned to the station, I was informed that all services had been cancelled. I asked by whom they had been cancelled. I never knew the answer to that question because I had been cut off. Obviously, I had to think over my plans for the day. I looked down at my snow-covered car from my bedroom. After breakfast, I managed to brush off all the snow from the car, and by a good stroke of fortune, I managed to get it started at the third attempt. I drove along the road that led up to the motorway with a light heart because everything seemed to be going well. It was almost fun with the sun shining through the clouds and the snow gently falling down onto the car. Suddenly, I saw an enormous queue of cars one behind the other. I realized I was stuck right in the middle of a huge traffic jam. In my mind, I started to go through the qualities that were needed for the job. Among the requirements were ability to work under pressure, calmness in the face of difficult circumstances, and a determination to see a job through to the end. I reviewed the situation. It was 9 a.m. By now, and on a normal day, the drive would take about 45 minutes. On a day like this, it would be impossible to estimate. I decided to relax. After all, nobody else could travel, so why should I worry about it? Within 5 minutes, the traffic was moving again, and for the next 2 miles, I was driving along the motorway at quite a good speed. I skidded off the road and into the bank by the hard shoulder. There was a loud bang and steam started to pour from out of the car bonnet. I glanced at my watch. It was 15 minutes to 10, and there were still about 10 miles to go. Fortunately, I had my mobile phone with me and called the car assistance firm, who promised to come as soon as possible. I also phoned the firm I was supposed to be having an interview with, apologized, and said I might be a little late. They didn't sound very friendly. 1 hour later, the repair people came and towed it away to a garage and dropped me off at the nearest railway station. I reached my destination at 11:30 a.m., just 1.5 hours late. Despite some unanswered tough questions, they offered me the job because I had shown presence of mind and determination. I was feeling very pleased with myself. Apparently, I had shown ability above the average and had scored well over any other candidate. It wasn't until I had been there for 3 weeks that I found out the truth. I had been the only candidate who had managed to get to the interview on that snowy day 10 years ago. The story recounts an eventful journey to a job interview in London, highlighting the protagonist's determination and resilience in the face of unexpected challenges. Living in a village near London, the protagonist must choose between commuting by car or train. Despite deciding on the car due to the job's relevance to policies, the interview complicates matters. Forced to adapt, the protagonist navigates through traffic jams and a car breakdown, eventually arriving late but impressing the interviewers with their presence of mind and determination. Despite tough competition, it's revealed later that the protagonist was the only candidate to make it to the interview on that snowy day, ultimately securing the job. The story underscores the importance of adaptability and perseverance in overcoming obstacles. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the daily grind and forget to take care of ourselves. We often complain about being too busy or overwhelmed with our responsibilities, but how often do we actually take the time to do something for our own well-being? It's important to remember that self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary for maintaining our physical, mental, and emotional health. Many of us dream of achieving success or finding happiness, but without taking action, those dreams will remain just that, dreams. We need to speak up for ourselves and take the necessary steps to make our dreams a reality. However, it's also important to remember that success doesn't happen overnight. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. When we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, it's easy to worry and feel anxious about the future. But worrying won't solve anything. Instead, we need to focus on what we can do in the present moment to alleviate our concerns. Sometimes, all it takes is a simple reminder to take a step back, breathe, and refocus our thoughts. In our interactions with others, it's important to be mindful of how we speak and communicate. Words have the power to hurt or heal, so we must think before we speak and choose our words carefully. It's all too easy to complain or criticize others, but instead, we should strive to build each other up and offer words of encouragement and support. Life is full of ups and downs, and it's inevitable that we will encounter obstacles along the way. But it's how we deal with those challenges that defines us. Instead of giving in to anger or frustration, we should strive to be adept at handling difficult situations with grace and composure. At the end of the day, it's important to remember to take care of ourselves and prioritize our well-being. Whether it's through exercise, meditation, or simply taking a moment to relax and unwind, self-care is essential for leading a happy and fulfilling life. So let's make a conscious effort to prioritize self-care and take the time to do something that nourishes our mind, body, and soul. In our journey through life, we encounter a myriad of emotions and situations that call for careful consideration and action. We may feel anxious or eager as we yearn for answers to questions that plague our minds. In times of uncertainty, we may be inclined to seek reassurance or guidance from others, asking for their opinions or advice. But what happens when we make mistakes or hurt those we care about? It's important to apologize and seek forgiveness, acknowledging our faults and taking responsibility for our actions. We must be ready to admit when we've wronged someone and make amends, showing gratitude to those who are gracious enough to forgive us. When it comes to pursuing our desires and ambitions, we must be prepared to take action and apply ourselves wholeheartedly. Whether it's applying for a new job, starting a new project, or pursuing a passion, we must be ready to put in the effort and work towards our goals. However, our ambitions must be tempered with a sense of propriety and consideration for others. We must not crave success at the expense of others or be notorious for our selfishness. Instead, we should strive to be qualified and useful members of society, using our talents and abilities for the greater good. In our interactions with others, we must be careful not to cause harm or offense. We must be mindful of the impact our words and actions can have on those around us, showing compassion and empathy towards others. It's important to remember that we are all human and prone to making mistakes, but it's how we handle those mistakes that defines us. As we navigate through life, we must be grateful for the opportunities and blessings that come our way. We must be thankful for the support and love of those around us, never taking their kindness for granted. And when we encounter challenges or setbacks, we must have hope and faith that things will improve, never losing sight of our goals and aspirations. In conclusion, life is a journey filled with ups and downs, but it's how we navigate those twists and turns that ultimately define us. We must be prepared to face challenges head-on, showing gratitude for the blessings we receive and seeking forgiveness when we fall short. By living with purpose and passion, we can strive to make a positive impact on the world around us, leaving a legacy of love and compassion for future generations to cherish. In the pursuit of success and fulfillment, it is essential to be diligent and accurate in our endeavors. Without a diligent approach, our efforts may be backward or lax, resulting in deficient outcomes. To excel and achieve our goals, we must be prompt and experienced, willing to enlist the aid of others when needed. A fertile mind is one that is interested and eager to learn, constantly increasing its knowledge and skills. However, even the most diligent among us may encounter obstacles or setbacks along the way. It is important to persist and remain interested in our pursuits, regardless of the challenges we may face. In our journey towards success, it is easy to become envious or proud of our achievements. However, we must remain humble and aware of our own shortcomings. Regardless of how successful we may become, it is important to remain grounded and aware of the needs of others. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we may encounter moments of doubt or fear. We may feel scared or terrified of what the future holds, unsure of our abilities to overcome obstacles. In these moments, it is important to remember that we are not alone and that it is okay to seek help and support from others. Ultimately, success is not defined by our accomplishments or accolades, but by our ability to remain true to ourselves and our values. Regardless of how tired or weary we may become, we must continue to push forward, guided by our own sense of purpose and worth. And when we do succeed, it is important to celebrate our achievements, but also to remain humble and grateful for the opportunities we have been given. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves in situations where we must make decisions and take actions that affect not only ourselves but also those around us. It is important to concentrate and think carefully before acting, as our choices can have far-reaching consequences. When faced with challenges or difficulties, it is easy to blame others or external circumstances for our predicament. However, it is important to take responsibility for our actions and not rely on others to solve our problems for us. We must stand on our own 2 feet and carry ourselves through life with integrity and determination. As we navigate through life, we encounter various opportunities and obstacles that require us to make choices and take action. Whether it's deciding where to live, what career path to pursue, or who to rely on for support, we must be willing to make tough decisions and stand by them. It is important to remember that our actions can have a profound impact on those around us. We must be mindful of the words we speak and the actions we take, as they can either uplift or hurt others. A simple smile or compliment can go a long way in brightening someone's day, while harsh words or criticism can leave lasting scars. When it comes to achieving our goals and aspirations, it is important to be determined and persistent. We must be willing to embark on new adventures and enlarge our horizons, even if it means stepping out of our comfort zone. It is only by pushing ourselves beyond our limits that we can truly grow and evolve as individuals. However, it is also important to recognize our limitations and not impose unrealistic expectations on ourselves. We must be willing to accept our flaws and shortcomings and not dwell on past mistakes or failures. Instead, we should focus on the present moment and resolve to do better in the future. In conclusion, life is a journey filled with choices and challenges. It is up to us to decide how we want to live our lives and what legacy we want to leave behind. By thinking carefully before acting and being mindful of our words and actions, we can make a positive impact on the world around us and create a life worth living. In the vast tapestry of human interactions, communication serves as the threads that weave our relationships and shape our understanding of the world. From the simplest exchange of greetings to the most profound discussions, our ability to speak and listen forms the foundation of our social bonds. Imagine a rainy afternoon, where the pitter-patter of raindrops on the windowpane sets a tranquil backdrop for introspection. As we sit and listen to the soothing rhythm of the rain, our thoughts may wander, and we may find ourselves lost in contemplation. In moments like these, it's natural to seek solace in the company of others, to share our thoughts and feelings in a sincere attempt to connect. We may invite a friend over for a cup of tea, or perhaps simply sit in silence, enjoying each other's presence without the need for words. But what happens when misunderstandings arise and our words fail to convey our true intentions? It is then that we must strive to communicate with clarity and empathy, to apologize when necessary and reconcile our differences. Communication is not just about speaking, it's also about listening. We must be willing to listen attentively to the perspectives of others, even when they are contrary to our own. It is through this exchange of ideas that we can broaden our understanding and grow as individuals. In our modern world, where technology allows us to connect with people from all corners of the globe, communication has never been more accessible. We can send messages instantaneously, bridging the gap between continents and cultures with a simple click of a button. But with this accessibility comes responsibility. We must be mindful of the words we choose and the impact they may have on others. We must strive to communicate in a way that is respectful and inclusive, acknowledging the diversity of experiences and perspectives that make our world so rich and vibrant. In conclusion, communication is a powerful tool that has the ability to build bridges and break down barriers. It is through our words and actions that we can forge meaningful connections and create a more harmonious world for all. Life after death has been a topic of fascination and speculation for centuries. Many religions and belief systems offer their own interpretations of what happens to the soul after the physical body ceases to exist. Some believe in reincarnation, where the soul is reborn into a new body to continue its journey through existence. Others believe in an afterlife, where the soul ascends to a plane of existence or unites with loved ones who have passed on before them. But what about the day after tomorrow? What lies beyond the realm of the living, beyond the confines of time and space? Is there a place where the souls of the departed dwell, awaiting their final judgment or reunion with their Creator? Some say that after midnight, when the world is shrouded in darkness and silence, the veil between the living and the dead grows thin. It is during these witching hours that spirits are said to roam freely among us, unseen but not unheard. But among the five, who can say for certain what lies beyond the grave? Perhaps it is among the trees, where the whispers of the wind carry the secrets of the universe. Or perhaps it is among the crowd, where the collective energy of humanity pulsates like a heartbeat, connecting us all in ways we cannot yet comprehend. As we talk among ourselves, sharing stories and ideas, we may catch glimpses of the truth that lies hidden beneath the surface of reality. It is at these moments that we may feel a sense of awe and wonder at the mysteries of existence and at the vastness of the cosmos that surrounds us. At the beginning of time, when the universe was but a spark in the void, who could have imagined the wonders that would unfold? And yet, here we are, standing at the threshold of eternity, poised to embark on a journey into the unknown. Hopes and dreams, their fears and doubts, trusting that He will guide us safely through the darkness and into the light. And at lunchtime, when the sun is at its zenith and the world is alive with the sounds of laughter and conversation, we pause to give thanks for the blessings we have received. But free at lunchtime, we may also ponder the fleeting nature of existence and the inevitability of our own mortality. For at the age of 60, we may find ourselves reflecting on the passage of time and wondering what lies ahead. At the moment, we may feel a sense of urgency, a need to seize the day and make the most of every opportunity that comes our way. And at last, when our journey is complete and we stand at the threshold of eternity, we may find comfort in the knowledge that we have lived our lives to the fullest and that we have loved and been loved in return. But driving at 100 miles per hour, we may also feel a sense of exhilaration, a thrill that comes from pushing the limits of our own mortality. For in the end, it is not the destination that matters, but the journey itself. At 10%, we may find ourselves questioning the meaning of life and wondering if there is more to existence than meets the eye. And in a country at war, we may find ourselves grappling with the harsh realities of violence and conflict and searching for ways to bring about peace and reconciliation. At regular intervals, we may find ourselves reflecting on the passage of time and marveling at the beauty and complexity of the world around us. And surprised at the news, we may find ourselves questioning our own perceptions of reality and wondering if there is more to life than we can see or touch. But the houses below us, with their rooftops and chimneys, remind us of the fragility of life and the importance of cherishing each moment we are given. And the skirts below the knee, with their hemlines and pleats, remind us of the passage of time and the inevitability of change. Down below, in the depths of our souls, lies the truth that we seek, hidden beneath layers of doubt and uncertainty. And see below, we may catch glimpses of the divine, shining like a beacon in the darkness. But stories by the writer, with their twists and turns, remind us that life is not always what it seems, and that reality is often stranger than fiction. And all by myself, I may find myself grappling with the mysteries of existence and searching for meaning in a world that often seems chaotic and confusing. Enter by this door, and you may find yourself on a journey of discovery, exploring the depths of your own soul and uncovering hidden truths that have been waiting to be revealed. And by listening to him, you may find yourself inspired to pursue your dreams and follow your passions, no matter where they may lead. But grabbed me by my arm, he did not let go until I had heard his message, a message of hope and redemption, of love and forgiveness. And back by 2 o'clock, I found myself standing at the crossroads of destiny, unsure of which path to take. Must be in by 10, they told me, or else I would miss the opportunity of a lifetime. And side by side, we walked together, hand in hand, facing the unknown with courage and determination. But by the time I arrived, it was too late. The door had closed, and the opportunity had passed me by. And 12 by 10 in size, the world seemed smaller somehow, as if all my dreams had been reduced to nothing more than a fleeting illusion. Increased by 10%, they said, but I could not shake the feeling that something was missing. And sold by the thousand, they promised me wealth and success, but at what cost? Stood by her side, I vowed to protect her, to cherish her, to love her with all my heart. And paid by check, I sealed the deal, knowing that my future was now secure. During the holidays, we may find ourselves surrounded by family and friends, celebrating the joys of the season and giving thanks for the blessings we have received. And during the war, we may find ourselves grappling with the harsh realities of conflict and violence, searching for ways to bring about peace and reconciliation. During the night, when the world is shrouded in darkness and silence, we may find ourselves lost in our thoughts, pondering the mysteries of existence and wondering what lies beyond the stars. And during the weekend, we may find ourselves longing for adventure and excitement, eager to escape the monotony of our daily lives. For $1, you can buy a cup of coffee, or a newspaper, or a moment of happiness. And message for you, my friend, is one of hope and encouragement, of faith and perseverance. But prize for the winner, it is not material wealth or fame that brings true happiness, but the love and support of those who stand by our side through thick and thin. And for 10 minutes, let us pause to give thanks for the blessings we have received and to reflect on the beauty and wonder of life. For centuries, human civilization has evolved, from the time of our ancestors walking for miles in search of food and shelter to the modern era where we have the luxury of transportation and communication at our fingertips. But even as our world changes and progresses, there are certain constants that remain unchanged, such as the need for sustenance and shelter. Time for dinner is a cherished moment for families to come together, sharing a meal and bonding over stories of their day. It's a time to relax and unwind, to nourish our bodies and souls after a long day's work. Clothes for washing are a basic necessity, ensuring that we maintain cleanliness and hygiene in our daily lives. But for some, access to clean clothes may be a luxury, as they struggle to make ends meet in a world where even the most basic of needs can be out of reach. Unfortunately, not everything in life is as simple as dinner or washing clothes. There are darker aspects of human nature, such as the propensity for murder or the risk of cancer, that remind us of the fragility of life and the importance of taking care of ourselves and each other. But for tonight, let us set aside our worries and fears and focus on the present moment. Let us cherish the time we have with loved ones, knowing that tomorrow is never guaranteed. There are many reasons why people make the choices they do, whether it's walking for miles in search of a better life or playing chess for years to master the game. Each person's journey is unique, shaped by their experiences and circumstances. From here, we can look back on our past and reflect on how far we've come. We can also look to the future with hope and optimism, knowing that there are endless possibilities awaiting us. Postcard from Jumla, a remote village nestled in the Himalayas, reminds us of the beauty and diversity of our world. It serves as a reminder that there is so much more to life than what we see in our own little corner of the world. But even as we explore the world around us, we must not forget to look within ourselves to examine our own beliefs and values. Truth kept from him can lead to misunderstanding and mistrust, while honesty and transparency can foster deeper connections and understanding. In a traffic jam, we may feel frustrated and impatient, but it also serves as a reminder to slow down and appreciate the journey. Life is not just about reaching our destination, it's about the experiences we have along the way. Pain in my back may be a physical discomfort, but it also serves as a metaphor for the burdens we carry in life. Whether it's physical pain or emotional pain, we must learn to acknowledge it and seek help when needed. In a hurry, we may rush through life without stopping to appreciate the little moments that make it worth living. But it's important to take a step back and enjoy the journey, knowing that life is meant to be savored, not rushed through. In a week's time, who knows where we'll be or what we'll be doing? Life is unpredictable, and we must learn to embrace the uncertainty and make the most of every moment we are given. In the mirror, we see a reflection of ourselves, both literally and figuratively. It's a reminder that we are the creators of our own destinies, and that we have the power to shape our lives in whatever way we choose. In exchange for our time and effort, we hope to find fulfillment and happiness in life. But sometimes, the greatest rewards come from giving back to others, from helping those in need and making a positive impact on the world around us. In great danger, we may feel helpless and afraid, but it's important to remember that we are not alone. There are people who care about us and are willing to lend a helping hand in our time of need. In the queue, we may feel impatient and frustrated, but it's also an opportunity to practice patience and empathy. We are all in this together, and by working together, we can overcome any obstacle that comes our way. Life in the 1870s may seem like a distant memory, but it's also a reminder of how far we've come as a society. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, and a reminder that we are capable of overcoming even the greatest of challenges. In his youth, he showed promise and potential, a champion in him waiting to emerge. From a young age, it was clear to all who knew him that he possessed a rare talent and determination that set him apart from his peers. In my view, he was destined for greatness, his natural abilities coupled with his unwavering dedication paving the way for success. It was only a matter of time before he would rise to the top and claim his rightful place among the greats. Speak in English, they said, as he stepped onto the international stage, his words echoing with confidence and conviction. Watch in horror, they did, as he dismantled his opponents with ease, his mastery of the game leaving them in awe. In the crowd, he stood tall and proud, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who watched. In record time, he achieved what many thought impossible, breaking barriers and setting new standards of excellence. In love, he found solace and strength, his heart full and his spirit renewed. In this room, he shared his dreams and aspirations, his hopes for the future shining brightly in his eyes. In private, he confided in me, sharing his fears and doubts, his struggles and triumphs. Written in ink, his words resonated with truth and sincerity, a testament to the depth of his character. Cut into by the pain of divorce, he faced the greatest challenge of his life, grappling with loss and heartache. Near enough to hear his cries of anguish, I stood by his side, offering comfort and support in his darkest hour. A friend of mine, he was like a brother to me, always there when I needed him most. Color of his skin or background mattered little to me, for our bond was forged in mutual respect and understanding. A great deal of time passed before he found peace and acceptance, his journey marked by hardship and struggle. Fond of riding, he sought solace in the freedom of the open road, his troubles fading into the distance with each passing mile. Unkind of you to judge him based on appearances alone, for the face of an angel hid the pain and suffering he endured. A quarter of his life spent in turmoil, yet he emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. Both of us, we faced our demons together, supporting each other through thick and thin. All of us, we shared in his triumphs and tribulations, celebrating his victories and mourning his losses. Woman of wealth, she held the key to his heart, her love a guiding light in his darkest moments. Many of them envied their relationship, but none of them could understand the depth of their connection. More of us should strive to emulate his courage and resilience, his unwavering commitment to his beliefs and values. Most of all, we should remember that it is in times of adversity that true character is revealed. Much of his success can be attributed to his own hard work and determination, but plenty of credit must also be given to those who supported and believed in him along the way. Several of his mentors and coaches played a crucial role in shaping his career and guiding him towards greatness. The back of his mind, he knew that the road ahead would not be easy, but he faced each challenge with courage and conviction. The top of his game, he stood tall and proud, a testament to the power of perseverance and dedication. Suffering of millions weighed heavily on his conscience, driving him to make a difference in the world. Of his own free will, he dedicated himself to serving others, using his platform and influence for the greater good. A journey of a long way off often begins with a single step, they say. But for those who are well off, the path may be smoother, the obstacles fewer. Yet even the most privileged among us must tread carefully, for danger lurks off the grass and off the road, waiting to ensnare the unwary traveler. In the quest for knowledge and enlightenment, some turn to the stairs, seeking guidance from a book on palmistry or the wisdom of ancient sages. Others are driven by passion and ambition, their hearts on fire with the desire to succeed. Standing on my foot, he paid no heed to my discomfort, his mind elsewhere, unaffected by my pain. Like a machine run on batteries, he was focused and relentless, his gaze fixed on the horizon, his thoughts consumed by the task at hand. On the phone, he spoke with authority and confidence, his words carrying weight and significance. $40 on a shirt may seem excessive to some, but to him, it was a small price to pay for quality and style. On time, he arrived, his his punctuality a testament to his professionalism and reliability. On page 45, he found the answer he was seeking, his eyes scanning the words with eager anticipation. Got on my horse, he rode off into the sunset, his spirit unbroken, his resolve unwavering. But even the best laid plans can be improved upon, for there is always room for growth and development. On his father's death, he was forced to confront his own mortality, his grief overwhelming. Yet over time, he found solace and peace, his memories of his father a source of strength and comfort. Over 50, he reflected on his life, his achievements and failures, his joys and regrets. But despite the challenges he had faced, he had emerged stronger and wiser, having triumphed over the worst that life had thrown at him. Over an argument, he had lost a friend, his pride preventing him from making amends. But victory over pride comes at a cost, and he found himself alone, his heart heavy with regret. Over the radio, the news spread like wildfire, sparking panic and chaos. Run over by fear and uncertainty, the people cried out for reassurance and guidance. "He's over there," they said, pointing to a figure in the distance. A quarter past the hour, he approached, his footsteps steady and determined. Half past, he reached his destination, his mission accomplished. Past the age of retirement, he continued to work, his passion for his craft undiminished by time. Since 3 o'clock, he had been waiting, his patience wearing thin. Since last week, he had been planning, his mind consumed by thoughts of the future. Since Monday, he had been grieving, his heart heavy with sorrow. Since she died, he had been lost, his world shattered by her absence. Since the party, he had been haunted, his memories of that fateful night haunting him day and night. All through the night, he tossed and turned, his mind racing with thoughts of what could have been. Through the door, he slipped unnoticed, his presence undetected by the guards. Slept through the lectures, he did, his exhaustion too great to resist. Get through the day, he must, his responsibilities weighing heavily on his shoulders. 5 to 8, he glanced at the clock, his meeting just minutes away. Next to him, she sat, her presence a source of comfort and strength. Went up to a stranger, he did, his curiosity piqued by her enigmatic smile. Told a story to him, she did, her words captivating and mesmerizing. Drank himself to death, he did, his demons too great to overcome. Nursed back to health, he was, his body frail and weak, but his spirit indomitable. Nothing to him, they said, dismissing his achievements as insignificant. Stand back to back, they did, their bond unbreakable, their loyalty unwavering. Keys to my car, he handed over, his trust in me unwavering. Old enough to know better, he was, but still young enough to dream. Propose a toast to him, they said, raising their glasses in his honor. And so, we raise our glasses, to him and to us, to the journey that lies ahead, and to the adventures yet to come. Cheers! 60 miles to a litter, the weary traveler trudged along the dusty road, his destination still far off in the distance. To your liking, he thought, as he glanced at the map, plotting his route under the scorching sun. Under a tree, he sought refuge from the relentless heat, the shade providing some respite from the oppressive rays. Under age, he was, but determined to prove himself worthy of the challenge ahead. Under 15 years old, he had dreamed of adventure and excitement, never imagining the trials and tribulations that awaited him. Under repair, his trusty steed stood, its weary frame in need of some tender loving care. Under the control of fate, he surrendered himself to the unknown, trusting that his path would lead him to where he needed to be. Under the impression that he was invincible, he pressed on, heedless of the dangers that lurked around every corner. Under the influence of his own ambitions, he pushed himself to the limit, driven by a desire to succeed at any cost. Under the table, he struck a deal with fate. Under pressure to perform, he rose to the occasion, his determination unwavering in the face of adversity. 10 soldiers under him, he led them into battle, their courage and resilience a testament to his leadership. Until 3 o'clock, he fought tirelessly, his spirit unbroken despite the odds stacked against him. Until it's finished, he vowed, refusing to surrender until victory was assured. Until past midnight, he labored on, his work far from done. Wait until he's here, they said, their anticipation mounting with each passing moment. Married with a child, he longed for the day when he could return to their loving embrace, his heart heavy with longing. Trembling with fear, he faced his demons head-on, determined to conquer his doubts and insecurities. Littered with paper, the battlefield bore witness to the chaos and destruction of war, the casualties strewn across the ground like fallen leaves. Popular with the voters, he was hailed as a hero, his bravery and selflessness earning him the respect and admiration of all who knew him. Went to war with honor, he returned a changed man, haunted by memories of the horrors he had witnessed. With me or against me, he demanded, his resolve unyielding in the face of opposition. Improve with age, he did, his experiences shaping him into the man he had always aspired to be. Without doubt, he knew that he was destined for greatness, his faith in himself unwavering. Without his help, he would not have made it this far, his gratitude immeasurable. Without taking a break, he pressed on, his determination propelling him forward, one step at a time. And so, he continued on his journey, undeterred by the challenges that lay ahead, his spirit unbroken and his resolve unwavering.